Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Right, this is the current new range that's just come out alongside the Codex for Space Marines. So there are pre-orders coming out soon for the new Tech Marine and the new Bunker. I am a massive fan of Tech Marines. I do love Tech Marines. I seem to have collected every single one that's come out so far. But this one doesn't look too dissimilar. I'm not knocking it, it is a nice model, but I do have a lot of Tech Marines. And I wasn't going to get the Bunker, but reading the new rules, it is quite tasty. It does look like it's a bit of fun. But anyway, let's talk about these. So, we have the Primaris Invader Atv. So, this bad boy here comes with two weapons options. So, we have the Onslaught Gatling cannon, and we have the melter. So new melter rules means the melters do pack quite a punch. So multi-melter, obviously extra shots from compared to the eradicators, but now they are a little bit more reliable when they come to the damage. Rather than 2d6 picking the highest, it's a d6 plus 2, which is pretty nice if it's in half range. So it's pretty tasty. So the Invader is slightly different from the rest of the Primaris bikes, even though it looks like the same from the side. You know, you've got the same kind of shape as on the front. Because it's not core. And core is a new keyword if you haven't heard already. So things like your captain and things like that can give rerolls of 1s for core, same with lieutenants, things like that. But these guys are not core. But you can have up to 3 in a unit. So you can have these little Mario Karts running around everywhere. And Apothecaries could bring one back with all its wounds. And it has 8 wounds. So we'll get into some rules. So the good old ATV is a 14-inch movement, like most bikes, which is pretty nice. Weapon skill and ballistic skill of 3. It's a strength 4, toughness 5, because it's a bike. Most infantry on bikes for Space Marines are toughness 5. Like I said, 8 wounds. It's nothing to be sniffed at, which is really, really nice. 4 attacks, somehow. I don't know, I'm guessing 2 attacks per dude. Leadership of 7, and a 3-up regular save. There is a bolt pistol on board, and like you said, you can have the melter option, which is range 24. It's heavy 2, strength 8, minus 4 AP, like most melters. And like I said, it's D6 plus 2 for the damage if you're in half range, which is really nice. I mean, it does mean you can get a minimum of 3, which I'm happy about, because anything I find it is D6 damage, I generally roll a 1. And of course, the maximum is 8, which is wicked. Wicked good. So you can destroy another one of these, possibly, that you're going to be coming up against. And then you have the Onslaught Gatling cannon, which is the other option. So more shots, same range, still 24 inch. And it is heavy 8, strength 5, AP 1, and damage 1. So AP 1 doesn't sound like a lot, but in the first turn, if you moved up 14 inches, you're probably in range of 24 with something, and obviously the Devastator Doctrine will be in effect, which means, because this is a heavy weapon, it is AP2 in the first turn, so they can be pretty nasty. That is quite a lot of shots. But this thing for me is probably going to zoom around and grab some objectives. I might get another couple. I'm going to play one and see what it's like. But I just think the model is quite fun. So it has the Angels of Death rule, which, you know, we probably know about at the moment. And it has turbo boost. So each time this unit advances, do not make an advance roll. Instead, until the end of the phase, add 6 to the move characteristics, which is wicked. Now, in the new codex, in the ability section, it will come up with words like Raven Wing or Wolfen or Death Company, things like that. These keywords mean for that specific unit gains those abilities. So it does say Raven Wing here. So for those Dark Angels players out there, and there's probably going to be quite a few, I would imagine, zooming around with these things. And the fact that you guys now have the good old Primaris ability on loads of your units, the transhuman physiology, which is insane, especially when you're Terminators, but I won't go there. That's pretty disgusting, I feel. And a lot of your characters have it as well. Anyway, ranting, let's get on with it. So, if you're using this thing and you are Dark Angels, it's now Raven Wing. So it has the Raven Wing keyword, so it can jink and things like that, which is pretty nice. Of course, it's a vehicle, so it could possibly explode on a 6. Within 3 inches, everyone suffers 1 mortal wound. So maybe not have these 3 guys in one unit clumping up too much. Hey ho, it's pretty nice. I do love the model. I do feel it is like a mini bat tank, and that's the only reason why I picked it up. I do think it is pretty epic. Right, so that's the Invader ATV. Next we'll go for the Chaplain on the bike. So my initial thoughts were just get the Codex and this guy. Well, mistakes were made. I did buy a lot of other stuff. But this is boss. I did like the previous Chaplain on the bike. I always thought he was cool. But this guy, love the detail on the face. Now, I really want to use the helmet for this guy, because I think Chaplains should always wear a helmet. But that face is wicked, so I'm going to make sure I keep that face to one side. I'm going to use it for a special character, because there is a lot of detail there. I like the little goatee, and there's a nice scar on his face. He looks pretty much like Anakin, like the end of Return of the Jedi. So it's a lovely, lovely model. I love the detail, like here on the book. You can see the little padlock, things like that. Really have done an excellent job with this. So let's talk about the rules for this guy. So obviously he's a character, so usual character rules apply, and you can only have 1 in the unit. He's, like I said, he's a character. So he's got the 14-inch movement as well, like most bikes. His weapon skill is a 2-up. His ballistic skill is a 3. 2-up because obviously it's all about the close combat. He's a bit of a beast. Strength 4, toughness 5, 7 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and the save is 3-up. But remember, because he has a Rosarius, he also has a 4-up invulnerable, which is always nice. So, usual thing, pistol, the Crozius, like the Chaplains of old. But this time around, the pistol isn't just a standard marine pistol, it's a Primaris pistol. So it's range 18, single shot, strength 5, AP 1, damage is 2. So he's a bit of a marine killer. 2 wounds on a pistol is wicked. So he's probably going to be in close combat. In the 3rd turn, remember those pistols also have an additional AP. So yeah, he's going to fire 1 shot. You're going to think that's just a pistol. But with AP 2, strength 5, 2 damage. He's wounding marines on 3s. You know, AP 2, 2 damage is nothing to be sniffed at. But he has the twin bolt rifle on the front, as you can imagine. So rapid fire 2. It is Primaris, so strength 4, but it has that extra AP, so it has that 1 AP. Whereas regular Astartes bikes don't have the AP on the bolters. And the Crozius is strength plus 2, AP 1, 2 damage, which is always nice. So spiritual leader is his aura. So when a friendly chapter core unit, so that's that core ability again, so that affects most infantry, minus centurions and servitors. So yeah, core units within 6 of this model. Models in that unit can use this model's leadership characteristic instead of their own. So Marines are normally 8, they could be 9 within 6 inches. It's pretty nice little free ability there. Once again, he has the turbo boost special rule, so 6 inches to his movement rather than rolling a dice. if you're Wolf Priest, if this unit from Space Marines chapter or one of the successor chapters, then it has the Wolf Priest keyword, which makes sense. Wolf Priest rather than Chaplain. Or if it's Raven Wing, because it's a bike, has the Raven Wing keyword. So this model knows Litanies of Hate and one other litany from the Litanies of Battle. So if you don't know how litanies work by now, roll a d6 and on a 3-up they recite that litany and it takes effect. Obviously each litany has its own rules. So I think he looks really cool. For me it is the rule of cool, doesn't matter if he completely sucks on the table, he looks pretty biff. And I am going to have him with loads of Primaris bikes because I just think they look cool. Now, I do think it's a bit of a shame you can only have 3 Primaris bikes in a unit at the moment at least, because I really did like the old bikes. I used to have them everywhere, 7th edition mainly, but they never did really well. I just think they look cool, just swarms of bikes everywhere. Maybe I should have played Wide Scars. But that is the Chaplain, and he is awesome. Now, this guy was a bit of a surprise to me because I wasn't going to buy it, and in the last second I thought, so I'll click on it. But it's a bit of a surprise because I didn't know this thing can move. Now, I assumed it gets bolted to the ground or something like that because it's artillery, right? But no, being the 41st millennium, and these are Space Marines, these are servo plates. So this thing can move 3 inches. Which obviously isn't a lot, but if you needed to move somewhere, you can do. Right, because it's actually a vehicle, even if you do move, you don't suffer the heavy keyword. So movement 3, weapon skill is 3-up, ballistic skill is 2-up because there's a tech marine behind it. So once again, I do love my tech marines, and with the replacement limb on there by the looks of it, I love that. I really should probably pick up some Iron Hands or maybe some Iron Hands bits so I can integrate with my Blood Angels. I do think like the servo limbs and things like that, they just look wicked. You're going to have a few injuries in your army. Right, it's Strength 4, Toughness 5 because he is a tech marine, but being on a vehicle I was expecting maybe Toughness 6, but nope, Toughness 5. 5 wounds, 2 attacks. If this thing gets in combat, something's gone wrong. That's not what it's designed for. 8 leadership and a 2-up save because, yes, it's a tech marine. So you got 2 options with weapons here. You can either have the Twin Accelerator Autocannon, which is range 48. It's 6 shots, strength 7, AP 1, 2 damage. So once again, anything 2 damage, bit of a marine killer. So the AP is not great, but remember in the first turn, that's going to be AP 2. The other option is a Last Talon. Now I was thinking Last Cannons would be pretty nice, range 48, but no, it's the Talon version, so it's only 24. So with the movement on it, I don't think it's going to get a lot of shots. I was very, very surprised it's got the Last Talon. Range 24 is okay, but you're going to have to be pretty close to start shooting it. Heavy 4, which is nice, because I thought it was only going to have 2 shots. So that's pretty cool. Strength 9, because it's a Last Cannon. AP 3, and D6 damage, which is all pretty standard for a Last Cannon. But just a very, very short range. So for me personally, I will be using the Accelerator Autocannon. So all 3 of these do not have the core keywords, as you can imagine, because they're not infantry. But no, they're pretty nice. They're pretty nice. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be using it on the table, but it looks really cool. Purely because in my head, straight away, I'm thinking of Hoth. So having it on a nice snowy table, have a few of these laid out. It looks very 40k / Hoth. I think it looks wicked. So even though I was only going to pick up this box, yes, I've accidentally picked up all 3. Right, so let's tackle the actual miniatures themselves. Let's see. I mean, you can see the artwork on the box anyway, and that looks pretty nice. But let's see the detail. So, noisy packaging on camera is always good. Obviously, it's the first time I've ever opened these. And there's the base. There's the little book, the how-to guide. And this is the new layout. So that tells you movement, close combat. So they've got symbols now rather than loads and loads of instructions of different languages. So you can see. Nice, pretty clear assembly guide. And let's check out some details. So that's pretty nice to see on the base. A nice chunk of concrete or something, maybe tarmac. Fantastic detail there. You can see the ribs on the little skeleton. It's going to be a joy to assemble that one. Not too many small bits. And these bikes do look boss. They look wicked. And there's the detail I mentioned previously on the chains. Right there. Put that to one side. Let's noisily open another box. So no transfers in the previous kit. Ah, that's interesting. That's quite a large base for the ATV. I was expecting to stick all the control panels on, the legs of the dude. I think maybe some sub-assembly is required. I'm thinking painting that up possibly before sticking the rest back together, because it's going to be quite hard to get, I was about to say, between those Marines' legs. Wow, poor choice of words. Yeah, looks pretty wicked. Nothing that really stands out. It looks very marine. It looks like it belongs. It looks like it's technology that's been around for, you know, a while. It's not out of place. And look, an Ultramarines transfer sheet. But I do like the scripture there. It's pretty tiny. Can you see that scripture? There we go. And once again, assembly guide. It tells you all the different profiles. So you've got your guns on the front. Got the Gatling, and you've got the melter there. It's pretty nice. And last, by no means least, we have this large piece of artillery. So loads of transfers in this one, which is a bit unusual because, you know, I've got Ultramarines on the brain now. I'm looking right at it. It's a Tech Marine, so he's not going to have too many transfers. But you can see in the picture there is a transfer on the plate. So they're not sure why they thought you need that many. And it's a single sprue. Looks pretty easy to assemble. Nice large chunks. Still see the detail in there though. It's really nice. And double last time. Very cool, very cool. Assembly guide. And different profiles. I still can't believe it's got movement 3, but I suppose if you need to move in a pinch, why not? But this thing is not going to be moving up the board anytime and grabbing objectives. I wouldn't have thought. Right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please let me know what your thoughts are on these rules for these new miniatures, and if there's any stratagems you think that really stack quite well. I'm not saying break the game, I'm saying stack well, so things that people may not have seen straight out the book, straight off the bat. And what works well with Ravenwing, or maybe if you've got a Rune Priest, you know, on that bike, please let me know. Your thoughts are always welcome. So please hit that like button, and please subscribe, and thank you very much for supporting us. Okay, take care, guys.